Alex on Tom's Hardware here. I'm at Google I/O and I'm checking out some Project Ara news. And I'm here talking to
Rafa Camargo, and I lead engineering for Ara at Google's ATAP, which is the Advanced Technology and Projects Group at Google. And today at I/O, actually, we gave a demo of Ara. You guys can check it online. I think the broadcast will be live there. And we show how we assemble a modular phone on the fly. We boot it in no time, and then we show also real time how you can basically change the hardware. We connected a camera in real time and then took a picture of the audience.
This is the first time this has been shown in public?
I think we showed at our developers conference a previous prototype that had less functionality, but this is the first time we've shown it at You Assemble and can boot, and also the first time we showed live connecting a module, hardware module, and basically with no rebooting, no restarting your application, just works.
So obviously the project's been in works for a little while, and there's a lot of things that are still coming in the future, but what's next for Ara? What's in the pipe for people?
Well, we're working now on, we've done a lot of the technology development, so the hardcore technology was demonstrated today. There was a lot of invention there to do that the team has been doing before, and that wasn't me, I joined recently. And now we're focused on productizing it. So there's a lot of stuff we have to do to productize it, and we're also working on development hardware for our hardware partners, because Ara is all about essentially enabling innovation on the hardware side the same way that apps did for software. So we're just building a platform, and it's really about getting a lot of hardware partners to use it to bring their innovation to mobile market. So that's our next focus, basically enabling them so we can start creating a high ecosystem of hardware solutions.
Now I notice behind you here, this little display is just showing off some example ideas of modules, and you've also got attendees writing down their own ideas for modules.
Yes.
And looks like people come up with some pretty wild ideas what they want to see on the back of the smartphone.
Yeah, it's been amazing, you know, asking people what kind of hardware they want on their mobile device, you know, and that kind of shows you the constraints that devices today have and the opportunities we have to open it. So you have people from like, they want an altimeter, an oximeter, so they can do mountaineering and knowing when they're getting to an altitude that is, you know, beyond what they want. They want people that want to basically swap the display for a super large battery, and then the back module for the battery, just put a small display there, so when they go hiking, you know, they have long battery life and they can still do their GPS and other stuff. From other guys that was basically converting the whole thing to be a mobile robot that you can control remote, which is probably the extreme use case. But then there are tons of other use cases that people came up with, you know, many ideas in terms of medical devices and sensors and so on. And this is just the beginning. I think once we open the platform, it'd be crazy the level of innovation that you're going to see coming from all over the world.
Now, can you just briefly talk about the idea that Ara sort of democratizes hardware and makes it more accessible to more people, and also makes it more accessible for big and small companies to innovate more than they can today, and why does Project Ara allow this?
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges today with the smartphones, they've been great in terms of bringing computing to everyone and making it mobile and personal, accessible. Everyone now runs with a computer in their pocket that is connected, so it's great. But when you look at the history of computing and innovation in computing, every platform has started with basically a vertical integration where a few companies choose everything and it's kind of proprietary. And then when it moved to the next level where you make it modular so many other companies can contribute their part of innovation and their technology to it, things have exploded in terms of applications, in terms of lowering the cost, in terms of driving the power of computing and all that. So we believe mobile, which is the current most important computing platform, is ripe for it. And we think basically we can drive tons of innovation and bring it to market and to consumers, you know, and both for big companies that can invest big things, you know, but even with that today they're having a hard time getting into the 5 or 6 or 10 top smartphones that sell in the world, to small guy in the garage, you know, that have a hardware idea, but of course they don't have the resources to do a whole smartphone to put their hardware innovation into it.
I mean, one example, you know, I was thinking about is if somebody works in architecture or construction and they need a rugged device with rugged modules when they're on a work site.
Yeah.
But when they go out for dinner, they don't want to be dragging around this phone with like a rubber bumper on it. They can just go home, switch out their modules, and make their phone look a lot sleeker than it was, you know, early in the day.
Yeah, there is also a lot. That's a good example. There's a lot of interest also in terms of vertical markets and businesses, you know, with the current trend of kind of bring your own device. Also, all these smartphones are, I mean, they are the best computers there, and then you see many devices in enterprise today, they look like clunky and all that, and also the user interfaces are harder to learn and all that. So we believe we can also bring the best of both worlds, where you can bring your own device, be the device you're used to, latest software technology, latest hardware technology from a consumer perspective, but then by the hardware being modular, you can also add, when you get to work, the hardware that you need for your enterprise, for example. So you gave an example of ruggedized environments. There's also medical equipment. I was talking to a guy today that works on actually maps in terms of geotagging everything around the world for maps, and then he was saying, oh, I want my laser finder, you know, actually integrated here, so I don't have to be doing all this crazy software to connect all these sensors and all that, and it's all proprietary. So there's a whole other world there once we establish the platform that will also get into enterprise, and we hope it will get into enterprise.
Now, one other exciting thing you mentioned was, which I didn't think about, is the fact that you could rent a module for a specific use case that you would only need to use like once a year or something.
Yeah, I mean,
one idea.
Yeah, we don't know how the market will go.
We have no idea, because
you know, I mean, it'll be an open market, so you will get, I think, a lot of different business models.
Ideas.
And I mean, the innovation that we allow is not just on the technology and the hardware. We also will allow innovation in business models, and you've seen again this in computing and in many other technologies. You know, once you have a lot of players, you know, so that would be an example. Many modules will be for sale. That's probably the default and the most common model. You know, people's very used to it. But the people's also used to rent certain type of hardware, you know, cars and all that. And we were talking like, I don't know, for example, a sat phone, you know. So there's some people may want to buy because it's core to their daily life, you know, if they're all the time, I don't know, in the mountains or like remote places. But there may be other people just go there on vacation and still want to be communicated, so they may just rent that module. So we're not close. I mean, I think we're going to enable all kind of business models as well.
So I guess the next time we can learn more news about ARA is at your developer conference, right?
Yeah.
When is that coming up?
We're working on it, so what we recommend is you follow us on Twitter at Project ARA, and we'll be providing news and updates there.
Great, well thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
This is Alex and Tom's Hardware at Google I/O, been talking about Project ARA.